which any business affecting their interests is discussed or acted upon. In accordance with the provisions of this Act, the Fair Lawn Board of Education has caused notice of this meeting to be published by having the date, time, and place thereof distributed to the persons on the approved list, posted in the Board of Education Administrative Office, and sent to the Bergen Record and the Herald News. The announcement/posting of the regular monthly meeting, along with the date, place, and time thereof, was originally distributed on January 24th, 2025. Please rise for the flag salute. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And I will pass it to Dr. Dionisio for Superintendent's comments.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome. We've been very, very busy getting ready for the start and the opening of school. I'm happy to report that all of our schools are in great order, and we are ready to welcome our students back on Tuesday, September 2nd. We were privileged to welcome back over 1,000 employees yesterday. We had our staff convocation at the high school where we kicked off the opening ceremonies with our students and our staff. Our students ended up welcoming with wonderful smiles and singing performances that really kicked off the morning on the right note. And I had an opportunity to speak to our district staff, and then we've had professional development for the past 2 days in order to be able to provide support for our teachers to get ready for the start of school. I'd like to thank our summer faculty, our 12-month employees, specifically our facilities department, who's done a tremendous job in order to be able to get our schools ready for the first day for our staff and for our students. Just a few other quick updates. We do have, as many members of our community and our board knows, traffic congestion has been an issue for many, many decades here in Fair Lawn, not uncommon for communities similar and laid out similarly to Fair Lawn with the way our streets are, with on-street parking, where our schools are situated, and also the fact that we just have high volume of pedestrians and residents and traffic with our local and with our county roads. So one of the major areas of focus this past summer, in partnership with the Fair Lawn Police Department, has been to come up with some improvements and recommendations for drop-off and pick-up at our schools. And two of the big areas that have been our area of focus have been Memorial Middle School and TJ Middle School. A number of years ago, Fair Lawn High School made some adjustments while having no drop-off through the parking lot area during those drop-off times. So we focused our efforts on the middle schools at this time, and especially with TJ, as everyone knows, being situated right next to Milnes, that creates a lot of issues as well. So we do have some new traffic patterns for drop-off and pickup that our principals have communicated. We took 4 to 5 recommendations that we discussed for each school that came from the Fair Lawn Police Department. We narrowed that down to the best option. That went back to get some more feedback from the borough and the traffic division. We worked with our security team here at in the school district, as well as our facilities department, the building administration, and that's been communicated out to our parent community. So we're asking for our parents and residents to be partners with us in order to make sure that drop-off and pickup is safe for our students, and we're looking for hopefully more enhanced, smoother drop-off and pickup, so that way our students and our staff are safe and we can get everyone in with the least amount of frustration. Last but not least, I do have some excellent news regarding our CUSAC update. For everyone who's been paying attention, last year was our annual audit, or 3-year audit, I should say, that occurs every 3 years. CUSAC, NJCUSAC, stands for the New Jersey Quality Single Accountability Continuum, and that's the Department of Education who comes in to review 5 critical areas, and those areas are instruction and program, fiscal management, governance, operations, and personnel. On August 20th, the Department of Education returned the results on our CUSAC status, and I am sharing them with the board, who's already received them, but with the public as well this evening. So, instruction and program, the district scored. I will say that the minimum score for passing is 80%. Highest, obviously, is 100%. And the scores are as follows. Instruction and program, 89%. Fiscal management, 100%. Governance, 95%. Operations, 97%. And personnel, 100%. So we passed all 5 areas. It was a very thorough and productive process, very constructive. And it gives us an opportunity to kind of take our pulse every 3 years with outside audit, and then to be able to take that feedback and then be able to make decisions that are going to continuously drive improvement for our students and for our staff. And that concludes the superintendent report tonight.
Thank you, Dr. Dionisio. And congratulations on passing all 5 areas there. Moving on to committee reports. This agenda item provides an opportunity for committee chairs to present brief summaries of proceedings from their most recent committee meetings. These reports are for informational purposes only and reflect activities that have already taken place. This is not an appropriate time to introduce new business items or engage in extended discussions on topics that should be addressed through proper channels. Committee chairs are reminded to keep reports limited to 3 minutes max based on written meeting minutes. Focus only on key actions and discussions from the most recent meetings. Reference when the next committee meeting is scheduled. Avoid introducing new business that has not been properly vetted. And submit any written summary reports to the superintendent and board secretary for inclusion in the minutes. Ms. Brown.
Thank you. I am the chair of the Student Services Committee, and our last meeting, we had a great discussion. Mrs. DeFranco provided an overview of the special education process and the updates that the state provided to our district, so I wanted to thank her again for that. And then our next committee meeting is September 11th, where we will meet again, obviously. Thanks.
Thank you. Any other chairs? Dr. Bertolini.
How did you forget me, Joe? Okay. We had a short meeting the other day. I'm just kidding. We had a long meeting the other day. It went well. We had a lot of topics to discuss. Some we got to, some we're going to go for our next meeting. First of all, the district goals, we did review them, and we agreed to recommend them for board approval. That's going to come up later tonight. We reviewed policy, and we made some corrections there, and that's, I'm assuming it's going to be up for approval tonight. We talked about elementary after-school enrichment program, and we are going to try to find a way to give access, earlier access for students at free and reduced lunch, because it's often hard for them to get on the phone when there's a certain time period. So it's recommended for board approval tonight. We talked about the suspension alternative program, which is an annual thing for students. Instead of keeping them at home out of school suspension, they go to Hackensack and they get some counseling and they get some work done in school. It's right there next to Bergen Academies on Hackensack Avenue. The marching band competitions have been going to be approved, I believe, tonight. Gifted and talented, there were some questions, and one of our board members on the committee has been pretty consistent with this, and there's going to be some additions to the website once the students have been selected this fall. The board member's been consistent, and she's hopefully going to get her way this time, because it should be like this. So she's been on this for a long time. The Bergen Community College Program contract was discussed. Since the budget's already in place for this year, we'll have more discussion as the budget for 26-27 begins shortly, and then we'll determine whether or not we can continue the program, increase the number of students, et cetera, depending on the cost. Next, again, this will be discussed at a future meeting, whether or not we're going to have a policy specific to anti-hate and anti-Semitism. We did not discuss it in length at all. A photography policy was discussed in length, and whether or not students can be posted on websites. And we have a policy that we're going to follow. And since there's been no major concerns in general, it's going to be referred back to the superintendent to see if there's any need to do anything. We also discussed robotics competitions, both at the middle school and high school. And that'll be, again, the budget's done for this year, but it's certainly going to push it back to the science and math departments to see what their thoughts about that. Kindergarten orientation, I'm not too, I don't remember this one, to be honest, that we discussed this, but the total cost I don't think we did. Okay, so we didn't. So my memory's not as bad as I thought it was. And we didn't talk about chain of command either, I don't think. Coming up, we did talk about academies and conservatories for the high school to try to offer better programs for some of our students and try to keep more students in district. And that's being discussed on the central office level and the school level, and that'll be brought back to us further on after they've come up with their recommendations. A couple more really quick. I'm going to take some of Jean's. I mean, it's a long agenda.
Your next meeting.
Jean,
Next meeting.
she offered me some time. She gave me her time. Isn't that allowed?
We keep it down to 3 minutes for committee reports.
One more
All
sentence.
those-
One more long
One
sentence.
sentence.
One sentence.
And
yes.
once there's a period, it's over.
I will not say the word period.
Not a run-on.
8 to 9 period day, that's going to be discussed with the administration of the high school and with the central office. The addition of ASL, again, that's being discussed. It'll be, if it goes in place, it'll be for 26, 27, or 27, 28. That's okay.
Thank you, Dr.
right.
Bertolini. And when is your next committee meeting?
I think September 11th also.
Thank you. I'm sure you will
You-
have much to report at next month then. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And I don't believe, right, there we go. And the only, we did, Buildings and Grounds also met, just to provide a very quick update. We talked about the summer projects. Simply want to thank Ms. Mancuso and her team for making sure that our buildings were up and running for the start of school, and for ensuring that all the projects ran smoothly over the past couple months when people were enjoying vacations. You were still working and making sure everything was complete. Our next meeting is September 4th. We do not do questions.
Is the
This
finance
is-
committee going to report?
It's Buildings and Grounds /
Oh.
Finance. It's the same committee. Thank you. The chair of personnel is not here right now, and personnel matters are executive content, so we don't often report on personnel committees. Thank you. And so next is the public comments on agenda items only. This portion of our board meeting is specifically for comments on resolutions listed in tonight's agenda. When speaking, please state your name and municipality of residence, specify which resolution you are addressing, limit your remarks to 3 minutes. State law prohibits board members and administrators from discussing personnel matters, student discipline, or other confidential issues. Please note this is not a dialogue or Q&A session between speaker and the board. While we may not respond immediately or to every comment made tonight, all input is carefully considered and helps inform our decisions. Responses may come through emails, reports, board statements, website updates, or after the comment period closes. Thank you for your participation in our school community's governance. The floor is now open to public members on agenda items only.
All right, there we go. Hello, everybody. My name is Dawn Ebner. I am a teacher at Fairlawn High School. More than 3 decades ago, a supervisor by the name of Paul St. Lawrence believed in me enough to hire me as a physical education teacher here in Fairlawn. Ever since then, this has been my home away from home, and actually, frequently, over my years, I've spent way more time here than I have at my actual home. Many of you I don't know as board members, but some of you I know as former students and parents of students, et cetera. Most of the board members who were here when I started are no longer here. While I have a little time left in this profession that I have dedicated myself to, I wanted to thank the district for giving me a chance. And although many things have changed over my career, which remains consistent, what remains consistent is the guidance and encouragement that I have had from teachers, coaches, activity advisors, and from fellow members of the Fairlawn Education Association officers and their members, all of who I have had the privilege to work with. They have not only been role models for the students, athletes, and club members of Fairlawn High School, but also for me. Working with them has not only made me a better teacher, a better coach, a better advisor, and a better Fairlawn Education Association officer, but also a better person. So I just wanted to take this opportunity to let each of them know publicly here just how much I have appreciated their friendship and support over the years. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Ms. Ebner. Any other members of the public would like to speak on agenda items?
Hi, good evening, everybody. My name is Bashana Tolchensky. My municipality is Vanson Place. First, I would like to say thank you to the Board of Education members and our superintendent for putting our students first and prioritizing various beneficial programs and activities. As a candidate currently running for seat on the Board of Education, I think this is a step in the right direction. And I'm super excited to see that more personnel is currently being hired to target the bullying issue that we have at some of our schools. As a mom of 3 kids in different schools, excuse me, I can say it really makes me happy to know that we have safety as our top priority. And basically, it's we can't stop there, but because bullying affects everybody, not just kids. It's, you know, the whole entire environment with the getting from parents and, you know, everybody's involved basically. So I believe that our district could truly become a model to proactively handle the bullying issue and promote more student wellness. I would actually like to know a little bit more in regards to the qualifications of the anti-bullying specialist. Is it going to be more like social workers, something like that, or basically the other agenda issue that I would like to discuss is the SAT prep course that's currently being offered to the high school students. I would like to confirm that we currently have only one class available like that, and it's at a community school, right, I think? So I was gonna ask, is there a way that we can possibly implement a free program for the high school students? Because $1,000 per class per student seems a little bit excessive. It affects everybody in the community. Some parents are not able to afford $1,000 for to prepare their children to take the CT class. And basically, public schools like in New York, for example, they offer various ways that the lower income families could take advantage of. We have the Khan Academy currently that's it offers no cost at all. And basically, that's it on the agenda items. I thank you for the opportunity. And I will be back for the non-agenda items. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Any other members of the public agenda items?
Hi, my name is Marcy Rees. I'm on Hazel Place. I'm also a candidate for a seat on the Board of Education this fall. I didn't prepare a 3-minute speech, but I just had a few questions that I wanted to bring up that hopefully will be addressed when going over some of the agenda items this evening. In looking over the district goals and objectives with the middle school and high school optimization schedule and creating flexible scheduling, I was just curious if something that will be addressed perhaps tonight is offering science or history year-round for the students that are interested in it. In the community climate assessment and when you mentioned revising the anti-bullying, I was hoping that we would perhaps hear something tonight on the anti-Semitism. That is a growing concern and a rise in our schools. And as a person of Jewish faith, it's definitely a concern for myself and my family. And I'm also looking forward to hearing more about the gifted and talented opportunities for elementary school students, particularly because I know the high school definitely has a lot more opportunities than the younger children in our community. So I'd love to hear a little bit more on that, and hopefully that will be addressed. If not, I'll come back later for the non-agenda items. Thank you for your time. You guys are doing a wonderful job.
Thank you. Yeah, anyone else? No. Anything on the Google Docs?
There are comments on the Google Doc, but they are for other business, so we'll hold off until that portion of the meeting.
Great, thank you. We will close comments for the public on agenda items. Were any responses needed?
I can provide just some general updates regarding some of the comments that were made, comments/questions. HIB, we do have under the HIB legislation, all of the schools are required to have an anti-bullying specialist at each school. We've actually increased the number of anti-bullying specialists, so those positions are typically reserved for our certificated staff members. They do tend to be our school counselors or child study team members, so a school psychologist or a social worker, LDTC, it could be a number of different roles. And they're charged with doing investigations for HIB and being part of the school safety teams. So that's an enhanced measure in order to be able to continue to focus our efforts on addressing HIB in our schools and addressing social emotional learning for our students. We can follow up and look into the SAT prep course at a later time. That will need some further investigation and discussion. And then as far as our middle school and high school schedule, that is a larger overarching goal that will encompass a lot of things from start time, beginning of school, end of school, how long our periods are, how our school is structured as far as building teams within perhaps the middle school schedule, taking a look at how we currently cycle through all of our core academic and all of our electives. So I know there was reference to science courses and history courses. So these are all encompassing as part of our middle school and high school schedule. And we are doing it simultaneously because we do share some staff. So we want to make sure that we're taking a look at this kind of more globally between grades 5 and 12. As far as anti-Semitism, that's something around culture and belonging. You'll see that as a continued goal in regards to our board goal, our district goals and objectives that we have. And gifted and talented has been a topic of conversation for many years here in Fair Lawn. As our board knows, we've had quite a bit of investment, not only in analyzing our process, but also students entering and exiting the program and the different types of course offerings. And in addition to that, albeit it's separate from G&T, we do have after-school enrichment that we offer in the district. So we're always looking for opportunities to continue to enhance.
Thank you. We will open it up to the board for comments on agenda items only. Dr. Bertolini.
I do think this qualifies as an agenda item, so you could slap me if it's not. But since we talked about CUSAC earlier tonight, that would count, right? Okay, good, thank you. So I want to take this opportunity to be the first one to remind the community that we, on the CUSAC for finance, we received 100% rating. And I also want to take the time tonight to thank Danielle for her experience, her knowledge, her professionalism. And this, I believe, is your last meeting, so we certainly want to wish you good luck. And the fact that we got 100% on CUSAC just underscores your work the last couple of years here. So I want to thank you very much.
Ms. Yorman.
So it's kind of a combination between CUSAC and goals, and some of it's already been said. a couple of years ago, my first year on the board tenure for this one. We talked, it came as a surprise during a meeting that we did not have full year science and social studies in the 5th and 6th grade. And everybody seemed concerned about it, but understandably with leadership, new leadership coming in, you know, you have to work through it. But then I looked at the DPR and had a chance to review it, and our science score on the DPR was very, very low. And when you take science out of the curriculum, you find a gap that would create that ability when you get to high school, like you'll have it in 7th and 8th grade, and then go to the high school, there would be actually a break of knowledge. So it'd be like it's kind of like special education. You got that loss and then recoup scenario. So I said the wrong word, but I wasn't thinking special ed at the time. So I was surprised that we didn't have 2 goals, which one was the science and social studies to have full year in the 5th and 6th grade and have it all through to graduation. And we've been talking about for 3 years, we've been talking about CTE, and now that's not a continuing goal. So I kind of, those are for the goals, I thought that we would have been better off having these 2 goals than or adding to these two goals to the district goals. So that's kind of where I was on there. And I think that was it. Thank you. Oh, I did have one more thing. On the bills, I noticed that we're still redacting the bills. Kind of got some information that said we shouldn't be redacting bills for the Board of Education, so I'm just throwing that out there. No answer needed. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Santana.
Yes, we agree. When we had the board on the committee report, when we had the board retreat, we agreed that the board minutes, the committee minutes, will be more elaborate, and they will include the opinion of those that were not in favor.
Santana, is this on an agenda item, please?
Committee reports. You keep micromanaging when I speak. Why do you do that? Why do you micromanage when I speak? I don't interrupt you. Why are you interrupting me?
You can continue, Mr. Santana, but please keep it on the agenda item.
It's on the agenda. It's on the agenda. We had a committee report. I'm commenting on the committee report. Okay, can my time be reset because he interrupted me? The committee minutes are supposed to be more comprehensive and state the opinions of those that were not in favor. That's not my opinion. We agree on that when we had the board retreat, okay? On the goals. The goals, I'm okay with the first goal and the second goal. However, the goals do not include accelerating academic achievement in the areas deemed in need of improvement as shown on the NJGPA presentation, in math, and in English for second language learners. Also, it does not address the lack of diversity in our faculty and administration. 781, Dr. Dionisio, I would like to know who is the organization sponsoring this training? I would like to remind the district that for employment and personnel, we have a policy 1530. The board policy states that the board will target underutilized groups in every category of employment. The board will provide among the faculty of each school role models of diverse backgrounds. I would like to congratulate all the retirees, especially Brenda Dawn Ebner. You worked for many years. I remember you when I started on the board. Your hard work in the district on behalf of the people that work here does not go unnoticed, and you deserve a healthy and happy retirement. Thank you. I would like for the board to receive the treasurer's and the board secretary's report at the time when the agenda is sent. We receive many documents the day before the meeting, and I'm not able to read documents in the last minute, just as I shouldn't be surprising the superintendent with last minute with requests a day before. That should also be done to the board. So I will be voting no or abstaining in items that were sent at the last minute. On 12A, we did not have enough time to discuss policies 5841 and 5841 and 58, I think 42. We had almost 12 topics in the education committee, and those 3 policies that we discussed, we only discussed 1. I'll go the second time.
Ms. Favolovich?
So I would like to say, motion, I think it's 10, the elementary school after-school enrichment program. This is something that is dear to my heart. I've been since I started on the board almost 5 years ago. That was something I advocated for every single board meeting, and most of my board members say, give up, and I never gave up because I really believed in this program. And I'm happy that in the past 3 years, it has been sold out within 5 to 10 minutes. So it warms up my heart that students are able to do things after school. And they can do Code Ninja, Math Sign, Chef It Up, and Abracadabra. Abracadabra is art, Chef It Up is obviously cooking, Math Science obviously and coding. So I think that's really cool. And I hope that the district will keep expanding this program, because if it keeps selling out within 5 to 10 minutes, obviously it's working and obviously people want it. And therefore, I hope it will continue. So motion 8I, I wasn't understanding this. Since Thomas Jeff Edison does not have a principal position, or maybe I'm wrong, why is there a teacher in charge position? So if the administration can kindly answer that. With respect to 11C, the attorney bills were redacted. The 9 of us is one of the clients of the attorneys, so I don't understand how can our bills for the attorney be redacted, and the bills that we are approving tonight are redacted, and this is something that was agreed upon that it wouldn't be redacted anymore, so I'm not exactly sure. On policy number 12, I'm voting no because Mr. Bulaki said we cannot break it down into 3 parts. We have to vote yes or no for the whole thing or not. We didn't discuss 2 of the policies. We only discussed 1 of the policies, and I had a lot of significant questions. I still have questions on the other ones, but we didn't have time. We only had 30 minutes. We had 12 topics, and everybody kept saying, move on, move on, move on. And if you look at the minutes for the education, there were a lot of good questions that I asked because we had to, after research, we were changing things around. So I think it's important for the board, since it's our responsibility, one of our 4 jobs, policies, that we actually take our time and discuss each policy before it is brought up to the entire board, because that's not fair. Because all our board members believe that we in our committees will do our jobs, but we're not doing our jobs because we're not even discussing it anymore. We're just putting it on an agenda. So hopefully we can remove these and discuss it in an education committee and bring it back next month so we can actually do our due diligence as board members, since that's our job. The next thing I wanted to talk about is the goals, but I have 12 seconds, so I'll go on the second time around so I don't break up.
Any other board members first time speaking? No? All right, Mr. Santana, your second round.
Thank you. On 11C, again, the legal bills should not be redacted for the client, which is the board. I understand for the public they need to be redacted, but they should not be redacted for board members. Just as we have access to documents that are not redacted for us, but redacted for the public, same thing. And as a matter of fact, this is not my opinion. we heard from attorneys here who said that's not a that shouldn't be a practice. So why are they redacted for us? So I'm hoping next board meeting this doesn't happen again. 11G and 11G and 11H. During the time to vote for that, I will be making a motion to reword the resolution so we can strike the word mileage, since we are not going to be charged for mileage. According to the attorneys, they're not charging us for it, so mileage should not be on the resolution. On 12A, no. The policies, we should not be voting on policies that have not been discussed. And as one board member stated, we didn't have enough time to discuss the policies. And this is the problem that we are having. We have too many topics and not enough committee meetings. And I asked that we have an extra meeting to discuss the topics that we didn't get to, and 2 members of the committee did not agree to. So you can't have it both ways. You want to approve things, but then you don't want to make the time to discuss it. You want to approve things, but you don't want to make more meetings. So if you don't want to have more meetings and you don't want to have more time to discuss it, then maybe the Board of Education, I don't know what's going on. But if you're not willing to invest the time to have more meetings and to have more discussion, then we need some reflection, because we are here to do the business of the children, and we are kicking the can down the road. You can't discuss 12 topics in 30 minutes. That's not fair for the children that we are serving. This is board malpractice. To have 12 topics, and right now we should not have those policies should not be on the agenda. And right now, I'm very disappointed. I'm very disappointed. Thank you.
Ms. Favolovich, your second round.
So I've been on the board for 5 years. In 2022, a former superintendent presented goals, district goals, and the community asked, how will you achieve these goals? And this was something that was very important to them. And we had about 15 people getting up on and we waited and waited. We don't have any way. I've been asking in my write-up that how will these goals be achieved? Their goals are nice, but they don't explain how they're achieved. So they could be what I think is could be different what other people may think how they're achieved. So I wish the administration would provide to us how the goals would be achieved. In addition, the QSAC report in July 2021 in 2022, the year, we had for instruction and programming 91%. This time around, we have 89%. So I kindly asked the administration, and I'm thankful to the administration for providing the paper, which is the DPR paper, Excel. And the 3 scores that we are lost a lot of significant points is the district ELA achievement score, the school district mathematics achievement score, and the school district science achievement score. Basically, the 3 standardized tests that we take for our students. And I think that should be part of our goals to increase our scores. I know that IRNS is one of the parts of the goals, and I understand that's important. I believe in that process very much so. But that's not the whole recipe. There must be something else that's missing. There must something, maybe a consultant needs to be brought on. And then when I looked in the 2024, which was presented to us in October, the New Jersey SLA, I'm not trying to hurt anybody's feelings for saying it's just data. So I'm just speaking out data in public record. In 8th and 6th grade, 62% of our kids were proficient. That means 38% of our kids are not proficient. That means 1 in 3 are not proficient in math. To me, that's a problem. In 8th grade, when 142 took other test, 303 kids took, 142 took like the honors test, which is the algebra 1, the geometry, algebra 2 test. Out of the 303 kids that took the 8th grade test, 46 passed. I'm not trying to be discouraging here, but I do believe that that should be our district goal, to improve, in my personal opinion, our test scores, because we got points off on our QSEC, and we are also, our scores could be done better. I know Fairlawn kids are smart and everybody's working really hard, but if there's something missing, and I hope the administrator would look into it this year. Thank you.
Ms. Correct, Ms. Brown.
I just had some questions, just on the district goals, just some clarifying questions. Could the multi-tiered systems of support be the portion of the goals where you're working on those different multi-tiered systems of support to help support those struggling students in those math things, which are already on the district goals? The other clarifying question that I have is, in terms of the policies that are on the agenda tonight, aren't we given the agenda 48 hours ahead of time to peruse and ask questions if we're allowed to? And aren't we also allowed to ask clarifying questions and make clarifying comments on those policies before we vote on them tonight? Those are just my clarifying, just things I want clarification on. Thanks.
And just before closing board comments, I simply want to recognize Ms. Ebner, Mr. Gerisi, both staples of Fairlawn Public Schools, that even if you didn't have them as a student such as myself, you knew them, you saw their dedication throughout the hallways. A very well-deserved retirement. So thank you for all that you have done for Fairlawn Public Schools. Dr. Dionisio, if you had any comments on any of those.
Yes, I have a few comments in response, just to kind of answer things more globally, because there was some repetition of some topics here. So the board received an update from me in regards to how the goals are developed. We analyze, based on the state of the school's presentation, the status of our goals in the prior year. We get feedback from our central administrative team, our district administrative team, approximately 30 administrators, who get feedback from the day in and the day out with our teachers who are in the trenches. We took all that feedback. We saw some of the initiatives that we know we have to drive forward that come from the board in regards to the issues that we discuss in committees. And then we formalized a survey that went out to the community, and we had community rank. Those results obtained hundreds of points of input from our community, which is where we ended up landing on the 3 district goals with 3 objectives underneath each one. I would just preface by saying as well that just because something specifically is not an explicit goal does not mean it's not getting done, right? So to the point of CTE, we talk CTE here. That will continue to be a conversation. Many great strides have been made over the past several years around it, distinguishing as well the difference between how the state defines CTE and what we think about as we talk about vocations, which is different than CTE. That work will still continue. It's just not highlighted as a specific overarching goal or objective. And in addition to that, we also, to the point around QSAC and areas for improvement, I will, in a moment, let Ms. Keller speak to the instruction and program piece and the comparison from the 2022 QSAC versus 2023, and some preliminary insights that we have on that and our feedback with the DOE. But in addition to that, we do have, to Ms. Brown's point, 2 areas on Goal 1, which are focused on supporting instruction and program. And that's the intervention and referral service goal, an objective, and also the multi-tiered systems of support. So when you look at where our test scores are and where there's room for growth and improvement, those are areas that we need to work on with specific students who are currently struggling. So that is part of MTSS. That doesn't mean that there aren't other areas that we're also working on from a curricular instruction program, but that is where we're devoting a lot of time, energy, and resources. As far as the question that came up regarding diversity, that is a topic that has been put on the agenda that will be a future topic in the Education Committee. 7A1 is hosted by the New Jersey Department of Health. Board and treasurer reports, the timing of those, because we do have almost $150 million budget. There are a lot of moving parts to the fiscal resources that are coming in and out, and time for the business office to be able to process that, which is sometimes the delay in not getting it a week in advance, which is difficult to do because by the time you run those reports, they may not be as current by the time we actually get for board approval. As far as new policies go, a lot of topics have been added over the past 2, 3 months, 4 months from the board, so which is fine for the board agenda topics in committee, but we do have to prioritize. And when I say prioritize, we have agenda items that need to get up for approval. So those 2 board policies were on the agenda for the Education Committee. There were no questions on it. We could certainly revisit that and discuss it again in September. The board only has a first reading tonight. It's just a first reading. The full board has received those 2 policies to be able to process it, read it, review it, bring any questions to the chair in order to bring it back to committee next month before it goes on for a second reading. So I would encourage anybody with questions or comments on those 2 policies to be able to do that. That's a pressing one because it did come as a piece out of the comprehensive equity plan. So that's why that was added recently to the Education Committee agenda. And the board does receive the agenda quite a bit of time in advance, a week in advance. So that information is providing ample time in order for that review. That's all I have.
Point of
Oh,
clarification.
and I'm
the-
going to pass it over to Ms. Keller to talk about the CUSAC instruction and program.
My
piece.
teacher in charge, why do we have it in Edison?
I'm sorry? A teacher in charge at Edison or
Yes, if
Jefferson?
you don't, this school,
Right?
why do we have it if there's no principal?
Our supervisor of special education serves in the role as the lead administrator, so in his absence, that's why we have a teacher in charge of each school. We don't have one. I thought I heard earlier Thomas Jefferson. We don't have it at Thomas Edison. Yeah, that's why. He's the lead administrator in each school. Ms. Keller?
All right, good evening. For context purposes in terms of DPR, the bulk of the IMP score for CUSAC is based on test scores, so like Ms. Favelovich said. So about 60% of our scores, which looks at things like language arts, math, science, achievement, as well as growth and other factors. So just to point that when this was done 3 years ago, there have been changes in the calculations, so we're not exactly comparing apples to apples from 3 years ago. Additionally, the test scores from 3 years ago were from pre-COVID. So we're going back and comparing to scores long before COVID. So while we have made positive growth, we are not fully caught up to exactly where we were. We're close, but we're not exactly in quite a few of the grades. So that is in a preliminary investigation, a sense as to why we saw a bit of a dip there. To piggyback on what Dr. Dionisio said in terms of the MTSS piece of that, Ms. Favelovich brought up that our 8th grade math scores. So 46% of our students, the non-honors accelerated track students, did meet or exceed expectations, which we know we want higher. Of course, we definitely do. But just for context purposes, the state average is 19%. So we're significantly higher than that. That is a historically low grade for the state. If you look at the state presentation, which is usually in December, it is very, very low. Typically in math, as you start getting to the upper grades, once you start tracking, that is what happens. But it is a valid point, and that is why we have, in order to increase achievement, you have to decrease the number of kids who are not achieving, which is why the focus of that goal is our MTSS. So we are meeting that goal to focus on achievement through that piece. That is where our goal was with that.
Thank you both. And I did want to comment on 11G and 11H. the resolution that is on the agenda tonight for our legal counsel. If you look at the agreements with legal services, that includes what we are paying for. The resolution itself is a standard resolution for legal services. Plus, we want to ensure that we don't limit ourselves, because certain expenses when it comes to mileage is required, such as experts, when we have to retain an expert to attend a hearing or litigation. That mileage would be paid for by the board typically. But within the agreements, travel is included in the legal services provided. So just to clarify there. Can I get a motion to approve the minutes for A?
So moved.
Roll call, please.
Dr. Bertolini,
Yes.
Ms. Brown,
Yes.
Mr. Aaliyah,
Yes.
Ms. Pavelovich,
Yes.
Ms. Kasoy,
Yes.
Mr. Santana,
Yes.
Ms. Yurman,
Yes.
Mr. Baldowski.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Point of a clarification, the two agenda items that we are gonna add for this, where are they gonna be put in?
That's not point of clarification, so.
Superintendent's items, we're just going to clarify that this is going to be motion H here. So this will just change to,
So right now I'll walk it on.
you're gonna walk it on now.
So we are going to walk on motion 6H. And be it resolved that the Fair Lawn Board of Education approves issuance of written decisions affirming, rejecting, or modifying the superintendent's determination in the following student HIB investigations. That is RA-2024-2025-08 HIB not found, and FLHS-2024-2025-13 HIB found. Correct.
Correct.
It'll be like an A and a B.
So RA is A, FLHS B.
So the Radbourne one A, the Federal High School B.
Correct. Can I get a motion to approve items 6A through 6C, 6E through 6H?
So moved.
Sorry, it was Jean and Ed.
Jean and Ed. Roll
And
call,
I'm sorry, you
please.
said Radburn was A?
Correct.
Radburn is. So this is. Dr. Bertolini,
This is everything.
upholding. Yep.
Yes.
Ms. Brown,
No on 6HB, yes on everything else.
no 6HB. Okay, thank you. Mr. Aaliyah,
No on 6HB, yes on everything else as well.
Ms. Pavelovich,
Can you come back to me?
Ms. Kasoy,
So no on 6HB and a yes on HA.
on all of
Everything
these.
else, yes, sorry, thank you.
Mr. Santana,
No on the Radbourne resolution, on the Radbourne case. And yes on the other one.
For
and the rest of the items under 6?
And the rest, yes.
Ms. Yurman,
Under,
under superintendent's items, section 6.
on 6. No on 6C. No on 6E.
And no on 6HA, correct?
Correct, that's the Radbourne one.
Yes.
Correct.
Thank you. Ms. Yurman,
No on 6C, excuse me, 6C and 6E, and yes on everything else.
thank you. And then Ms. Pavelovich?
No on 6C, no on 6E, no on 6HA, and 6HB.
6HA.
And 6HB. No on both of them.
Mr. Baldowski?
Yes.
Can I have a moment? Absolutely.
I already had 4.
Motion 6HB fails, and the rest of the items pass.
Can I get a motion for 7A through 7C and 7E?
I have a clarifying question before we motion. For 7A, we're all under 7A4. What,
You will abstain on yourself.
just my name, not the whole thing?
Correct.
Okay, thank you. So I,
Can I get a motion?
so moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Dr. Bertolini?
Yes, but I'm going to abstain on something. My name on 7A what? No, 7A4.
Ms. Brown?
Abstain on my name under 7A4, yes on everything else.
Mr. Aliyah?
Abstain on me, 7A4, and yes on everything else.
Ms. Pavelovich?
Abstain on 7A4 on my name and everything else, yes.
Ms. Kasoy?
Abstain on 7A4, my name, yes on everything else. Thank you.
Mr. Santana?
Recuse myself on 7A4, yes on everything else.
Ms. Yerman?
Abstain on 7A4, my name, and yes on everything else.
Mr. Baldowski?
Abstain on 7A4, my name, yes on everything else.
Motion passes.
Thank you. Can I get a motion to approve 8A through 8S?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Dr. Bertolini?
Yes.
Ms. Brown?
Yes.
Mr. Aliyah?
Yes.
Ms. Pavelovich?
No on 8G as good, 3, 8I7, 8I9, 8K. Do you want me to repeat it?
8G3, 8I7, 8I9, and 8K.
Yes.
Thank you. Last meeting, I finally got it. Ms. Kasoy?
Yes.
Mr. Santana?
Abstain on 8I7. Abstain on 8S. No on 8G3. No on 8I9. No on 8K. Abstain on 8R. Would you like me to repeat it?
Abstain on 8I7, 8S, 8R, no on 8G3, 8I9, and 8K.
And no on 8G3.
And no on 8G3. I think I said that one, but I haven't. Okay.
Thank you.
Ms. Yerman?
No on 8K, yes on everything else.
Mr. Baldowski? Motion passes.
Thank you. Can I get a motion to approve items 9A through 9C?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Dr. Bertolini?
Yes.
Ms. Brown?
We're on 9, you said, right?
Yep.
Okay, yes.
Mr. Aliyah?
Yes.
Ms. Pavelovich?
Yes.
Ms. Kasoy?
Yes.
Mr. Santana?
Yes.
Ms. Yerman?
Yes.
Mr. Baldowski?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. Can I get a motion to approve items 10A through 10L?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Dr. Bertolini?
Yes.
Ms. Brown?
Yes.
Mr. Aaliyah?
Yes.
Ms. Pavelovich?
Yes.
Ms. Kasoy?
Yes.
Mr. Santana?
Yes.
Ms. Yerman?
Yes.
Mr. Baldowski?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Can I get a motion to approve items 11C through 11Q?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Dr. Bertolini?
Yes.
Ms. Brown?
Yes.
Mr. Aaliyah?
Yes.
Ms. Pavelovich?
No on 11C as in Charles, 11D as in David, 11E as in Edward, 11M as in Mary.
Ms. Kasoy?
Yes.
Mr. Santana?
No on 11C. No on 11D. Yes on the rest.
Ms. Yerman?
No on 11C, yes on everything else.
Mr. Baldowski?
No on 11M. Yes on everything else.
Motion passes.
Sorry, I made a mistake. Board Secretary, if I may, Board Acting President.
Yes.
11M, no. 11Q, abstaining. I apologize.
11M no and 11Q abstain, correct? And I have also no 11C and 11D.
Correct.
Thank you. Motion passes.
Thank you. And can I have a motion to approve item 12A?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Dr. Bertolini?
Yes.
Ms. Brown?
Yes.
Mr. Aaliyah?
Yes.
Ms. Pavelovich?
No.
Ms. Kasoy?
Yes.
Mr. Santana?
No on 12A as an apple.
Ms. Yerman?
No.
Mr. Baldowski?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. We are now moving into public comments. This portion of our board meeting is specifically for comments on any matter. When speaking, please state your name and municipality of residence. Limit your remarks to 3 minutes. State law prohibits board members and administrators from discussing personnel matters, student discipline, or other confidential issues. Please note that this is not a dialogue or Q&A session between the speaker and the board. While we may not respond immediately or to every comment made tonight, all input is carefully considered and helps inform our decisions. Responses may come through emails, reports, board statements, website updates, or after the comment period closes. Thank you for your participation in our school community's governance. The floor is now open to public members.
Marcy Rees again. I just wanted to say that the new logos for the elementary schools are adorable, and all of the children are loving them, and my kids are really excited to see the lion. So I just wanted to mention that. That was really cute. So that's all I have to say.
Michael Rosenberg Fairlawn. I want to thank Mrs. Keller and the superintendent for answering the questions that the board members asked, because as I was listening and I was writing stuff down, you answered the exact way that was in my mind as was the right answer. As far as the math scores, because I keep hearing a lot about math scores. I watched the last meeting with the test scores. And I think you have to look at a couple of things. First of all, I know by talking to people in other districts, by working in other districts, that we have more students in 8th grade, 7th and 8th grade, taking advanced math, algebra, and algebra 2 than most districts, both middle schools. Therefore, you take all those kids out of the math scores, the general math scores, you're taking the best kids out of the general math scores when we're actually doing massively better than other districts. The other thing is, I think more important than looking at the exact test scores and the percentage on the test scores, I think looking at where we compare to other districts, especially like districts, is really the question. If we're doing better than most other districts, then it doesn't matter what the score is. Maybe the scores are wrong. Maybe they're judged wrong. Maybe we're putting too much of an emphasis on test scores. Because my thing is, what is our outcome when we graduate kids out of Fairlawn High School? When they've gone through school, are we a test score or are we educating the whole child? I hope we're educating the whole child. And the answer about the difference in CUSAC from 3 years ago, we were just coming out of COVID. There was no test scores. The test scores were outdated. The test was different. So you're not comparing the right things. You're not comparing the right things. And I want to congratulate on that state of the schools that you started doing 2 years ago. It is fantastic. It tells the district exactly what's going on in our school system. Thank you.
Hello again. Bajana Tolchinsky, municipality is Vanson Place, and I would like to bring up the concern regarding the recent water main break that we just experienced. I was wondering if we have some sort of a water filtration installed in any of our schools. When I looked on the website, I saw that we had recent test results for lead and drinking water posted, and the numbers actually look really good, considering the fact that we have some issues going on with the water currently. So that's definitely a good sign, but I was just wondering if we would have some sort of like an emergency procedure in place if, a future water main break does occur. Like, how would that be handled by the schools? We need to have, obviously, working bathrooms and drinking water for the students and the faucets. And the other thing that I was gonna ask, considering that we have about $138 million budget, would it be possible to have some sort of a allowance perhaps, or I'm not sure what to call it, but so that the teachers would have more supplies? Currently, the teachers all ask for donations for supplies with tissues and hand sanitizer and hand soap and Clorox wipes, which I think is great, but I think as the year progresses, a lot of teachers kind of tend to run out of things. So we might want to consider, seeing if we could fit that into the budget. And other than that, I just want to say thank you. The agenda items are actually very informative tonight, and I'm very happy to see that our students is being taken care of. Thank you. Have a good night.
Thank you. Move it to the Google Docs.
So there are two questions, or I should say public comments, on the Google document. First, we have Stan Lin from Fairlawn. Stan wrote, "The recent water main break in Patterson highlighted our aging infrastructure dating back 100 years. Highlighted online by residents, it is fairly obvious that if this had happened during the school year, it would have disrupted the ability for students to attend school within the district. Are there any emergency plans to deal with a widespread infrastructure emergency within the school district similar to what Fairlawn has experienced over the past week?" And then the next comment is from one of my favorite students in the whole wide world, Aiden Maloney. He's the best. Aiden shares, "Dear Board of Education members and Dr. Dionisio, my name is Aiden, and I'm going to be a sophomore on Tuesday." Congratulations, Aiden. I know you're watching. Thank you for your helpful input and feedback into the question I asked at the June board meeting. I watched the March 13th board meeting, and it was an excellent meeting, and I had a question tonight. I saw the ICR model for teachers of science on the budget for grade 9. I also know that there is ICR for English and math for grades 9 to 12, and I wanted to know if there's going to be ICR in class resource for science and social studies for grades 10 and 11 on the academic and CP levels. I attended extended school year this summer at Thomas Jefferson Middle School, and I had a really excellent time. Dr. Dionisio visited us in extended school year on Tuesday, July 29th. I am really impressed that he even remembered the date. Thank you, Aiden. It was really great to see you there. Former Board of Education member Mr. Banta also visited us in extended school year, and we had bagels with Mr. Banta. Please visit us in extended school year next year. I would be very happy to see you in extended school year. Thank you very much. All my best, Aiden. It was really wonderful to see Aiden and to see the teachers this summer over at the program at TJ. They did a really great job, so I'm glad that Aiden had such a wonderful experience. So I will actually, if it's okay, I'll just answer one question, and I'll turn over the ICR question to Ms. DeFranco in a moment. But I will answer to the point around the water main break. So when these sorts of things, yes, aging infrastructure, once again going back to townships, municipalities that are very old, it is on the municipal side. It is not a school board issue. It is not a school district issue. Of course, it impacts us, just like it impacts all of the residents. So when residents don't have water, the school doesn't have water. So there are two issues to grapple with, which residents do as well. It's either lack of water pressure, and the other part would be the water quality, right? So fortunately, Ms. Mancuso, Mr. Yobs, Mr. Licamara, our Director of Security, myself, were in contact with the municipality, with the borough, and kudos to the township. They were able to troubleshoot it and be able to get enough water pressure. Typical water pressure is 75 PSI. We had about 30 or 35. We were able to tap into some local water sources, and we were able to operate our 12-month staff all week. So Memorial Pool, not so much, but the school was able to stay open, which was really critical for us to be able to get school open next week. So, you know, from the point of water filtration, we have bottle filling stations, water filtration that's been added to our schools. If this happened during a normal school year, then that's why we have emergency school closing days. That's why we have contingency plans in order to have to take away from breaks and make adjustments to the calendar, especially this early in the year. So there are mechanisms that we would utilize. I'm going to turn it over to Ms. DeFranco in order to be able to just speak to Aiden's question regarding ICR.
So I think I heard the question correctly regarding ICR for grade 10. So we do have ICR in grade 10 for English and math courses, and we'll be proposing ICR for science and social studies for grade 10 as a continuum from what we're doing grade 9. So the board will be hearing about that during budget season, but yes, that is in the plans.
Thank you.
And turning it over now to board comments on any items. Ms. Jorman.
Thank you. So I have a couple of questions on policy 5512. It talks about HIB training for board members, and I've brought that up a couple of times, and I think that it's important for board members to be trained on HIB, and we talked about that over the last month or two. So I still think that should be part of, as you're elected and put on the board, whether you've been on the board, never been on the board for a year, or been on the board for 15 years, you should have HIB training. And even some of the members on the board currently, we didn't have training, and we kind of went in cold turkey. So that's one. As far as test scores go, so CUSAC was in 2023, because I was put on that committee in 22, and I was put on the committee in 2023. So I knew about it. I had the spreadsheet and everything. I would rather hear a comparison to, and I don't know what it's called, the comparison to our local group. Right, I'd rather hear that than what the state average is, because the state average is always going to be lower than our immediate local group. So if those scores are out comparing, of the local groups, I'd like to see like a comparison of us versus who's in that group. And last. Oh, and then I was just wondering the status of approval of additional languages in school. I know that we had discussed American Sign Language, but I didn't know where we were on that. And then if the Bergen Community College program is being considered to not be a choice because of cost, I'd like to see how the parents would feel about, basically having some skin in the game and paying a certain percentage of that, because it's a really great program, and I'd like to see it continue. And I believe that's it. Thank you very much.
Ms. Brown?
Thank you. I wanted to know if we could implement bagels with board members next year for all of us and not just Mr. Banta, because I would like to participate in that. I agree with Ms. Yorman. I think HIB training for board members is a great idea, and I'd like to see the training include like specifically what our role is in that process. And also to thank you to Camille for really working hard on just growing that ICR programs at the high school and the middle school level. I know that, when we talk in our committee meetings that the goal is to get it into 10th grade for next year. But if we could look into maybe science for 11th grade too, so, students, Aiden and his counterparts could, participate in that, because I feel like he's kind of like a grade behind with what we're doing, so I don't want him and those other students to miss out on that. So if that is possible to look into, I'd appreciate that. And that's it. Thanks.
Mr. Santana?
Yes, I'm going to start with the issue of diversity. According to the New Jersey School Report Card, based on the district's self-reported information, 54% of our students are white. However, 91% of our teachers are white. So, overrepresentation. 21% of our students are Hispanic, yet only 5% of our teachers are Hispanic. 17% of our students are Asian, yet only 3% of our teachers are Asian. Let's say for administration, 90% of our administrators are white, yet we have 54% of our students that are white. We only have 3% of administrators that are Hispanic, yet we have 21% of students that are Hispanic, and 3% administrators are Asian, yet we have 17% students are Asian. What am I saying? The rich, beautiful diversity in our schools are not represented in our workforce. And I should not be the only one talking about this. And it breaks my heart. It makes me so sad that there are people who have a beautiful loan sign that says, there's no hate in my home, there's no hate in Fair Loan, we all love each other, but you're not speaking for DEI. Everybody loves the sound, the words, but you need to do something about it. We need to do better in diversity, equity, and in inclusion. A child should not have to wait to go to college to have an African American teacher. A child should not have to wait to go to college to see a Hispanic American or an Asian American in a position of authority as a principal, as an assistant principal. And this is not acceptable to me. And I know I'm outnumbered, but I hope we have some allies here because the district is failing in that regard. Okay? We are not doing what we need to be doing. And we have a policy that addresses this. So if the district is following the policy, I'm respectfully and humbly asking you to work harder because I am not happy with the results. This is not acceptable, okay? With the scores, okay? Student achievement. I am not happy with the last 3 years of the NJGPA for 11th grade, which is testing Algebra 1 and geometry, basic math courses in college, in high school, where only approximately 78, 79, 76% of the students are proficient. My time is almost up. I'll wait for the next round.
Ms. Pavelovich?
So I would like to say thank you to the administration for agreeing in the education committee that they will put the cut scores, which is for the, let me start. For the gifted and talented students, there's a rubric every year that the administration uses to determine who gets in, who does not get into the gifted and talented program. And the administration promised, and I appreciate it greatly, that they would put the cut scores will be added after the students are selected in the fall. So parents will know, for each elementary school, the parents will know why their child did not get in or got into the gifted and talented program. So I would like to say thank you so much for that. I also saw on the finance committee, and it was not told by the chair, so I just wanted, that's why I was confused. The playgrounds will be done by September 30th, so I'm really excited about that. And I'm hoping the administration will not use little pieces of rubber tires that are like, because they're not handicap accessible, and they smell really bad, and their hands get dirty, and I hate it so much. Thank you so much, because I've been talking about that in the Edison Baga. I'm not that bad. So thank you so much for clarifying that. I appreciate it. So I'm excited that there will be 2 new playgrounds in Forest Elementary School and Mills Elementary School. And another thing is, I was cleaning my house and I had the binders for the budget. So I started looking through the budget, and I noticed that again, I'm nerdy. The Forest Marquee sign, it was in the budget for last year, and it's not put in, at least when I drove by last week. I was just wondering what's the update for that, if kindly you could provide that. And the last thing is, I was a little confused by the person that spoke about sanitary items not being provided to our students. Is that true, or is it just that she was saying soap, I think, as one of the items? Is that in our budget or it's not? If that could be clarified. Thank you.
Ms. Kasoy?
Be very quick. I'm just going to piggyback on the HIB conversation. I'm going to take this one step further, what Jean said. I absolutely think HIB training would be great to have more HIB training. I would love to see that open to the public also, honestly, because so often there's just some confusion. There's a lot of confusion around what the HIB rules are, what the role of the Board of Ed is, what it means to do, to file a HIB complaint, what the options are. So I just think if we could also make sure to educate the town and all the parents and make sure that everyone really understands what everyone's role is in the process, and so that, you know, there's just less confusion, more clarity, more transparency with what they can do, what we do, what the administration's role is. And that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Any other board members first time? No? Second time? Ms. Yorman and then Mr. Santana.
So I don't remember where the comment was made, but I just want to kind of clarify based on personal experience. If you're, and it's not dependent on your scores, but when you enter college, you have to take math and English tests. So if you don't have the foundation coming out of high school, you have to take the tests. And if you don't do well in the tests, then you have to pay for a 3-credit course or a pass-fail 3-credit course. So it ends up costing parents money as they, and I can only speak for a state college, I can't speak for anybody else. But I don't know what, I remember when I was in college, it was $15 a credit. I am sure that that's not what it is now. So that's what I'm saying. I know it's not $15 a credit, but you take a 3-credit course that you have to pay, and it's a pass-fail or a grade because you don't have the foundation leaving high school. It makes a tremendous impact on your student loans, your ability to stay in college if you can't afford it. You know, there's a lot of components. So I don't remember who said it, but there is an impact leaving. I mean, yes, you're going on to college or to a different, you know, either a trade or whatever, but it does make it in college, it makes a difference because they do test you. So that's all I want to say. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Mr. Santana.
Yes. Going back to the test scores, because academic achievement, I believe, is our #1 priority as a board. I believe once you have data for 3 years in a row that shows our high school students are that 78% approximately of the students who took the NJGPA in 11th grade achieve proficiency for 3 years in a row. That tells you there may be a structural problem with the actual programs. Maybe horizontal or vertical articulation. The district, we pay a lot of money for the staff to figure out the answers of that. But I believe we may need a consultant to come in and look at what we're doing, because any academic achievement issues at the high school level usually is because there are foundational skills that were not obtained in elementary school. All right, and I know we changed the program at the middle school, but we still have a legacy program at the high school, at the elementary program that we should look at. I am not satisfied with those test scores. C+ is not acceptable to me for anyone's child, and I think I support the superintendent to make the tough decisions. I would like to see tough decisions made. Because our children need tough decisions. I think the board is going in the wrong direction. I think we are micromanaging board meetings and board members. We're not having enough committee meetings. When we have committee meetings, we only have half hour to discuss 10 to 12 topics. That's not a best practice. That's inefficiency. To be in a rush to discuss so many topics, what kind of quality work are we going to get done? And then to refuse to have more meetings? How can you do that? That's not acceptable for children. It's not acceptable. And I understand everybody have to make time. Well, I'm willing to make the time. I'm willing to make the time. But not having a board attorney present today because the board leadership decided that it was not needed, that's not teamwork. You have to consult with the rest of us. We're not supposed to make decisions on a single basis. It's together as a whole. Sending an email to the board, is it okay making a call? We cannot burn bridges into our next step in our life. We have to work together because the decisions we make today affect our children 3, 4, 6 years down the road. Okay? When my term is up, my time is up. Thank you.
Thank you. The board comments period of the meeting, or Dr. Bertolini, you caught me. I didn't say it yet. Of course, go for it.
Red light goes on, it works. I've learned that. I didn't say that I wasn't going to have more meetings. I said that we weren't going to have a meeting this week before today's meeting. We can meet every Thursday night if you want, and I'll schedule every Thursday night, okay? So please don't be critical of me in person in front of everyone else.
Your comments to the
Point of order, violating the bylaws.
All right, I'm going to speak to the chair, or the president, acting president. I do not appreciate that, that's all. Thank you.
Anybody else? No? Okay. I will simply say to the HIB training, I know leadership has discussed that, so that is something that we are actively talking about. Me and Ms. Mahan, it's been expressed, so that is on our radar, and as we start with our legal counsel, that's something we've shared as a matter of interest. Were there any comments that you wanted to address? Anything additional?
Point of a clarification regarding the sanitary supplies, such as soap
Yes,
and.
waiting
yeah.
for administration.
ASL, American Sign Language, is something that was discussed at the last meeting. It is going to be a future topic that will be discussed in Education Committee. We talked briefly about it, but staffing is going to be an issue, but administration is going to put together a proposal, and we have more exploration and research to do. Bergen Community College program is also something that's going to be a future topic. Just a point of clarification, we scheduled 30-minute committee meetings last week, I should say, because we had to squeeze all the meetings into one meeting, one evening. Education Committee actually ran for 47 minutes. I just looked at the agenda. So it actually ran over. We had 4 meetings that night. We started at 6:30. I think I left and got in my car at 10 o'clock that night. So we went for 3.5 hours that night for 4 meetings. So we had quite lengthy conversations on different topics. The diversity topic is a future topic for personnel, possibly even the Education Committee as well. And the supplies, we would have to look into that more specifically. I do know it's common practice we provide tissues and hand sanitizer and all of those things. The challenge becomes is that the tissues that we buy through our co-op, through Ed Data, they're kind of rough and the kids don't like them. So the softer tissues are what they prefer. So it's not uncommon for schools to then have like supply lists similar to buying school supplies. They go and get sanitizing wipes and things like that, so that way they can kind of take care of their own station. So it becomes shared within the classroom. And that's all I have.
The point of clarification, the marquee sign for Forest from last year.
So we had to wait until we were finalized with, it's not just Forest, they're all of the schools, in order to be able to finalize the details, in order to be on the new school logos, in order to be able to have the new logo put on the sign. So that's.
That was budgeted for. And Forrest was in there. You're welcome.
Great. That's it.
All right. Our upcoming meetings, right? Yep, okay, just making sure. I'm just making sure. We have a regular monthly meeting September 18th, 2025, 7:30 in this room, Edison School, Eugene M. Banta Public Meeting Room, room 19. October 30th and November 20th are regular monthly meetings as well, both at 7:30. Edison School, Eugene M. Banta Public Meeting Room, room 19. Simply want to wish all of our students, families, a happy, healthy, and successful school year as we move into the 2025-2026 school year. And for the last time, I asked the board secretary to record a motion to adjourn our meeting. Can I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Have a good night, everybody.